And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Sydney Summit. My name is Chris Howard. I'm a Solutions Architect Manager for the New South Wales Territory team here in Sydney. And I am with Dr. Pete Stansky, who's been on many a session today.
I've been here almost like the whole day, so it feels like.
Out.
Yes. So I run the Solution Architecture team for Australia and New Zealand, and Chris is in my team.
Yes.
But we're super excited to have a special guest.
Very special guest. Yeah.
Hello.
This is Michelle Playfair from YOW Conferences. And I've known Michelle for years, but why don't you tell Dr. Pete and everybody else a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
Sure. I am, as Chris said, now the Executive Director of YOW Conferences. But before that, I've done, I like to say, soup to nuts of development. I have been a consultant, developer, test manager, agile coach, team facilitator. I've been a high school IT teacher. So pretty much go to woe.
So should we have asked what haven't you done?
Yeah.
Is that an easy question to answer?
I have not been an Amazon architect. I need to remedy
Be
that.
careful what you say.
Yeah, what you wish for.
I heard there's training available. I need to get onto it.
Yeah, it's funny.
Now, YOW Conferences. So you guys I know have been around. I used to work for YOW, full disclosure.
Disclaimer.
So I've been around for more than 10 years now. And so I've been bringing developer events to people in Australia and Asia Pacific regions. So what have you got on this year?
True. Well, we have the usual suspects. Actually, next week we have our YOW Data Conference.
Ooh,
so
exciting.
If anybody's got nothing better to do on Monday or Tuesday and is interested in the wonderful world of
here
data.
Here in Sydney?
It is here in Sydney.
Excellent.
Then we have
where's it at?
It is at the Wesley Conference Centre.
Okay, and how do people find out about how to register? Because data is the new oil, as we keep saying in the industry.
It is yowconference.com.au. Yeah, that's it.
Say that again.
yowconference.com.au.
All right.
So yes, and then we have a functional programming conference in Melbourne.
Yes.
And then following that, we do our Perth, Singapore, Hong Kong tour in September. And we're going to have this chap some of you may know called Adrian Cockcroft.
Adrian,
He's one of
ours.
So he's going to be one of our keynotes on that little tour. And another guy that some people may have heard of called Kent Beck. He was here in doing the East Coast tour in December, and he's coming back to do Perth, Singapore, and Hong Kong.
You guys have a reputation for bringing over these big name people. Like, how do you get those people?
Well, Dave Thomas has a very good Rolodex.
Yes,
and he knows a lot of people.
Does, yeah.
And I think, to be honest, word gets around. People come and they enjoy it. It's like a 2 weeks kind of circus tour, and the last lot of speakers we had on a WhatsApp, and there was lots of chit chat on the WhatsApp because people found out on Twitter that Deirdre Strawn and Brendan Gregg got engaged. And so, that was the speaker chat on WhatsApp.
So speaking of chatter, we've got live questions coming in from our folks all around the world that have tuned in.
Oh, no kidding.
We've got some questions here, and one of them is, what are we seeing is trending in the community at the moment? So finger on the pulse, what are you seeing in the YOW community?
We're always on like things that are a couple years ahead of what the Australian developer community are doing. So what's coming?
Well, try to. Obviously, as you say, data is the new oil. Yes. Some of the things I probably won't even know until they get here, to be honest.
I remember like last year you had a lot of evolutionary architecture stuff going on.
A lot of architecture stuff. I mean, microservices is not.
You guys broke microservices in Australia.
I
have to say, I think you did.
To some people, it is very new.
Yeah.
And some people are still discovering Agile and TDD and XP. Well, new people are coming through all the time, right? So what's kind of old hat to some people is new, because a lot of this stuff doesn't get taught in university.
That's what happens, though, right? Some of the old stuff, those practices and behaviours, kind of come back with a twist or with a new label.
Yeah.
But fundamentally, it's about agility, getting things done quickly. Wow. So another question which we also had out here was about diversity in the developer community. What can we do about that?
You guys do a fair bit around that, I know.
Try.
Yeah, we try. We all try.
It's a challenge, and one of the things that I get asked a lot is, how can we find women to speak at our conferences? And the short answer is you need to ask them.
Yeah.
And I think
novel.
What we're finding, it's similar to recruiting, and people find if you list a giant list of these are all the 77 things you need to have, tick, 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 tick. Generalization alert. Guys will be like, you know what? I got 6 out of 10. That's pretty good. Send it in. Women will be going, I've only got 6. Yeah, they couldn't want me.
Or 9.5 out of 10.
Couldn't want me. So with speakers, it's the same. You put up a CFP. You expect people
Call for
will
proposals.
put,
Call
sorry,
for proposals.
thank you, jargon
Conference
alert.
lingo.
Yeah. So you ask people to submit talks, and you expect people to submit talks, and you will find guys will submit talks, and women will be like, oh, they couldn't possibly want me. And you have to actually say, yes, actually, you should put in a talk. Oh, really? Do you think I could?
But you've got a program also to try and increase the pool of women.
We do.
Yeah,
what's
we
that
do.
called? Is there a name for it? Have you
There
got a-
is. We have
Is
a
it well
new-
known?
a new
Use the
voices-
camera. It's your
New
chance to
Voices
shine in Yao.
Tech. New Voices in Tech, which is open to women and non-binary individuals to try and increase the diversity in speakers. And we're really interested in technical speakers because I find that's the challenging one. A lot of women are in the agile space, guilty as charged, product. There's a lot of women that will talk on diversity and unfortunately then only get asked to talk on diversity.
Right.
And I remember I was at the CTO meetup, the female CTO and CIO meetup, and I said, love the guys to come and do the diversity talks.
Yeah.
And let's have the women doing the talk on the hardcore tech stuff. And everybody kind of laughed, and I thought, I don't know why that's funny.
Okay.
You know, why not?
Would you recommend any particular meetups where folks should go? And
So
meet other
many meetups.
I know.
So many
Any
meetups.
favourites?
I am based in Melbourne, so I have probably potentially a different audience than the Sydney people.
I'm a Melbourne guy.
Oh, there you
Great
go.
coffee, by the way, in Melbourne.
Yes.
Great coffee culture.
Honestly, meetups, there's something for everyone, right? Like
There is.
what I like, not other people might like. I do have a particular soft spot for Software Art Thou, which is run by
I've spoken
Zendesk.
at Software Art Thou
Yes, you
Zendesk.
have.
It's a fantastic meetup.
And I think why I like that one is it's a little bit like Yao in that it's agnostic to everything. It's just, hey, as Jeffrey, the founder of that particular series, says, it's a series of really good talks. So he just finds things that he thinks is interesting and good, and they run them every quarter. But you know, that doesn't mean to diss all the other great community meetups there are around. Sydney
There's
Tech
tons.
Leaders, I know, is quite huge.
Sydney Tech Leaders has had a number of meetups where we've had all women speakers speaking not on diversity, talking about remuneration strategy or government in tech or all kinds of interesting topics.
You know what really struck me? In Japan, there's actually an all-women's AWS user group. I found it absolutely amazing.
Interesting.
Oh, you're losing your bow tie.
Oh, my bow tie.
We were
fell
just
off.
talking a few minutes ago.
Don't look at him. He's
Idiot.
I'm undressing.
Aileen and I were talking about the Dev Warriors,
Right.
because the AWS Dev Warriors, we really want to increase the number of women in that. It's a very technical group. I know you and I have struggled with women in functional programming community because there just really aren't very many. If you're a woman who wants to write Haskell, come talk to us.
Please, yes. We
There's
have a
not many
functional
Haskell people
programming.
to begin with,
Well,
right?
exactly.
So it's a small
It's a-
subset
yeah,
of a subset.
exactly.
Elixir,
Yeah.
there's hope for Elixir.
Yeah,
Oh,
Elixir's
wow.
got a feel.
I've had that for a
It's got
while.
feel.
Okay,
yeah,
Elixir.
yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I think it's a challenge, and I think a lot of people are rising to the challenge. I was loving Glenn's T-shirts.
The Inclusion Engineer, that
and
was a
his
great
one today, ASL spelling at Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, the whole diversity engineer I thought was a
I want
Yeah,
his
nice play.
shirts.
Uh-oh, we have a question.
Someone's-
Oh, nice.
Oh,
question. That means
questions.
there's a
All
good
right.
question.
There's projectiles. They did not, I was
here's
not
a
warned
really
about the
good one.
projectiles.
Skull Crusher for life. Any advice that helps people get over their imposter syndrome and give that first presentation?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
Honestly, there are so many groups that help with first presentations. Everybody is really keen to have new speakers. Meetups, I was having a chat today with the guy that runs the React meetup in Sydney.
Jed.
Meetups love talkers.
Yeah.
If you have a talk and you want to have a go, please. DDD runs in Brisbane, Perth, Melbourne, Sydney. They are desperate for people to come and talk at DDD by night. You talk to any meetup organizer, they really want you there and they want you to succeed. And I think the trick is you have to realize that when you're doing a talk, everybody there, they are not there to see you fall down.
No.
They want you to succeed, and they're really keen. And you know, I did my first talk a few years back, and someone who I really admire it was at a testing conference in the testing community, came up to me afterwards and was like, I really liked your talk, and I just went, oh my God.
And that is so
That's so cool.
encouraging.
Yeah.
That's
I
it.
think that's what we need to do. People who are a bit of experienced, you need to give people encouragement, because that can really, someone who you know has done their first talk, give them a little bit of encouragement just goes a really long way.
And The other
Actually,
thing,
mentoring others who are
Yeah,
aspiring to
absolutely.
be
I've done a
presenters,
bit of
I
that,
think is
yeah.
an important skill because it kind of reminds you of your own personal journey. And I used to get absolutely nervous. My tummy would quiver and get the butterflies before I got up on stage. And mind you, that was a while ago now.
But that's the other thing. So many people that you think are the most amazing, awesome speakers are so nervous. I mean, we mentioned, we have people who have been on the speaker track forever. And you just think they'd be walking on me like, oh yeah, just in a day's work. No. They take it very seriously, and some of them are sweating bullets before they go on.
Absolutely.
And they still have that anxiety, and I think to realize it's okay. It's okay to be nervous. It's okay to feel
Everyone
like
gets
you're an
nervous.
imposter. I mean, go on Twitter and look at all the amazing people you follow who will say, yeah, I have imposter syndrome too.
Yeah.
If you've got it, you're in a good group.
I think it's probably more common than people realize
Yeah.
across the
massively.
entire industries, and I think
Yeah.
it's a part of human nature. The human condition really is about making sure that you meet the bar that you're hoping to achieve, and that's tough. And you've got high performers all around you. You see other speakers on stage doing amazing things. Kind of go, little old me, can I get there? But
Yes,
it's all,
you can.
It's all about practice, right?
That's it.
Do it till it
Yes.
doesn't scare you anymore.
Yeah, that's it. And you
Alright.
get better. And one of the things, I mean, having been teaching, I think everybody should go and be a teacher.
Oh,
imagine giving a 1-hour presentation 8 times a day.
That's how you know
Day
something,
after
when you can
day.
explain it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I look at a conference and I'm going, well, these people paid to be here. They're not. They don't hate me because I'm trying to teach them maths.
Yeah.
I think just having to do that over and over and over, after a while, it becomes easier.
It does. It becomes a bit of part of your habit. And
Yeah.
so a question from the audience, by the way, is have you seen any funny, interesting sessions recently? So speaking of presentations, anything that kind of stood out in your mind?
Funny, interesting
Yeah.
sessions.
Jess's one about opera last year was really interesting.
Oh my god.
Opera as in the place that you sing
Yeah,
at?
I'll let her
Yes.
tell it. That was really cool.
Oh,
Alright.
I was so pleased when she came and did that talk. So
Okay.
it's quite a long title.
Jessica Kerr,
Yes.
who's in the US.
The origins of opera and the future of programming is, I think, what the title is
wow.
called.
Linked
Talking about
them.
shock and shows
Yeah.
converting into one.
It is, and the way she does it, it is a dramatic performance. And I was involved in the Global Diversity CFP Day.
I helped out with that as well.
Yeah, and one of the things that they talk about is your talk is a performance.
Oh yeah.
And I
That's
thought,
true.
everyone needs to watch the video of Jess doing that talk, and it's on the Yao YouTube channel, and she's done it a few times, but it is just performance theatre and such a great talk.
Okay, so if I want to know more, what do I type into my favorite search engine to actually get that YouTube video?
Well, if you go to YouTube and
Yeah.
look up Yao conferences,
Okay.
you will find it. Or if you Google Jessica Kerr, Kerr, she is
Perfect.
Jessitron. If you're following
Love
on
the
Twitter,
name.
if you're like
Jessitron.
me and you only remember people's Twitter handles instead of their actual names, yeah.
I've got a good question for you, Michelle. So I think you're the only person here who might be in more Slack channels than I am. How many Slack channels are you actually in? How many do you admit to?
I just added the She Builds on AWS.
Yes, Aileen added me on that.
Space.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, that kind of took me to the 30.
30s.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
you
yeah.
frequent all 30 on a regular daily basis?
No.
Is
No?
this how you keep
No.
up with what's going
I-
on? Like,
That's one of the ways.
Yeah,
Twitter's good.
yeah.
Just knowing people. Often, if people know that you're interested in something, they'll ping you and say, "Hey, this is happening." But yeah, Slack is great for that.
Yeah.
Trying to keep up.
and we have a special event on tonight, don't we?
We do.
Why don't you tell the folks about Developer Night?
Yes.
There is a developer night on tonight. You should come if you are watching and you are in the Sydney area. There is a free sign up that you can do. There are some great talks. We are giving away tickets to Yao Conference. It doesn't have to be in Sydney. If you're here from Perth or Brisbane, no problem. You can go to the one that's local to you. It's going to be great. I'm really, really looking
So it's
forward
very
to
close to here, but where is it?
it. It is at the Sofitel.
Which is right next door?
Yes,
Yeah.
right next door.
Right next door.
Yes.
And then you're also helping out with
oh yeah.
Hold it up.
Community Day. I've not
AWS
heard this enough today.
Community Day. So if it's anything like the She Builds on AWS Day that we had, which was absolutely amazing, I'm really looking forward to this. And we have Jeff Barr
Fantastic.
VP and Chief Evangelist, who does look as though he has purple
He
hair.
has purple
He does.
hair. He does have purple hair.
It's his favorite colour.
You mentioned She Builds Day. You were a panelist at that, were you not?
I was.
And
I learned a lot
what was
about
that all
data.
about?
There were a lot of talks about data.
Yeah.
My favorite takeaway from that, because I've just recently moved into the data space and it seems like everyone has a PhD.
Yes.
Which, back to
all
the
doctors.
imposter syndrome thing, I found really intimidating. And Fiona Tweedy got up and went, yes, I have a PhD in Roman history or something along those lines.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, and her whole thing was, you can bring other parts of your work into
Yeah.
the data space. And instantly I thought, oh, well, I don't feel like such a complete, lacking in education person here.
So look, I
yeah, it
keep,
was
I keep
great.
joking I have a PhD, and my joke is it stands for permanent head damage, right? Because you can focus for a long time on one little particular domain that you're
Yeah.
working on. So nothing to be proud of.
Oh, it was a great crossover, and I thought that was a really interesting piece of information for me. I am not going to the breakout room. I am talking here.
I know, it's loud. One of the things I was going to ask you about just before we left is you guys, like I said, you bring over some of these amazing big international speakers. Some of them have never been to Australia before.
True.
What is their impression of the Australian technology community?
I think they get really excited about other people's enthusiasm.
Yeah.
They come, they don't know what to expect, and I don't know if they expect, we'll be dragging our knuckles and sort of,
Yeah.
using an abacus or something. No, I'm kidding. I think, with social media and stuff, a lot of them are happy to meet. We all meet our Twitter friends, and they get excited to meet people from Twitter that
I
they
remember
might have.
tricking them about drop bears. That was always
Yeah,
fun.
yeah,
was
That's
always
come a
fun.
few times
Yeah,
today.
Cruel and
yeah.
unusual.
Tricking them about
Cruel
the
and
drop bears.
unusual. But I think they're really excited to be here, and it really gives them a feel for the community and kind of to meet people that are interested in what they've written and what they're talking about, and hopefully, build some relationships for future.
Well, thank you so much for coming, for everything you guys do to bring these great people to Australia and to help us represent Australia internationally. What other things do you have coming up at Yao that they should know about? Because you don't do just conferences.
Mostly, yeah, we're all about elevating the community. So conferences, workshops, we have Yao nights, which are kind of like meetups. We like to bring people in when we can. We've got Jeff Patton coming back.
Oh, he's
Australia
a great
cannot get
speaker,
enough of
actually.
Jeff
Go
Patton.
see Jeff Patton.
Well, no, workshops.
Oh, workshops as well,
and
yeah.
he did a Yao night for us that sold out in about 26 seconds. So we'll find a bigger space for him next time.
How do you find out about all these things?
Oh, well, you can sign up to our email list, or if you go to the website at yaoconferences.com.au.
That's Y-O-W.
YOW, yes.
Yeah.
There's a long story
Long
about the
story.
name,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
find me at the developer night, and I can give you the long story.
Perfect. Which is tonight.
Which is
It
tonight.
is tonight.
We'll see you there.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming, Michelle.
This
Yeah,
has been
thanks for
fun.
being here. It's been a lot of
Thanks,
fun.
AWS.
I hope
Learned a great deal.
I hope you're enjoying the summit.
I am having a great time.
Lots
Lots
of tweets.
wonderful conversations.
Well, thank you very much.
really.
And we've got lots more content coming up, so stay tuned.